But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
And here we are once again, Brock, Sam for the Other Things podcast.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, we talk about all things space, all things entertainment, all things tech, all things games, and, well, we don't have science today. That's all right. That's all right. I guess we're just slowing down in the science realm.
So much of the science stuff that's out right now is space stuff.
That's true.
So, like, it's hard to really... We were having trouble finding a story that wasn't about space.
It wasn't about space.
Mars or about new life.
Making a distinction about those two things has kind of been a thorn in our side. But hey, when we do have science, it'll be there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it will.
Speaking of space...
Yes. NASA, this is actually really cool. NASA just released on Flickr all of their pictures from the Apollo missions.
Hey, so I'm glad that they chose Flickr. A lot of the other websites, Facebook is an example, downgrade image quality when you upload to them. But Flickr is one of the ones that is used by a lot of photographers because there's no image degradation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you're right, the images are beautiful.
They're excellent. I mean, I only saw, the first few pages and the last few pages because there's literally hundreds of pages of all of these pictures. But each one is just... I mean, it really takes you away. It's like these people... I mean, there's all the stigma around the moon landing. Like, did it actually happen?
Right.
And...
a lot of conspiracy theorists out there.
I'm, of course, one that thinks it definitely happened, and there's no doubt that it did.
Right. And I think a lot of the stuff that comes along with that is because, government records can't be fully public, especially right when something happens.
Right.
Just because of the nature of how government works.
Absolutely.
And so now, later on down the years, we get access to it because it's no longer classified or, sensitive information.
Right.
And it gives us a really cool little time capsule to look back into, what happened back then and really how the first pioneering missions to space were done.
Right.
And compared to the technology we have now, it's insane. There's more technology in my iPhone than there was,
There's more technology in this tape recorder thing than there was in the whole...
I think they stored their programs
lander.
on like basically cardboard,
right,
with variation holes punched out.
That's
to
what
read
it was.
Different things.
That's how you imported.
And so they just had stacks of these cards to fly the moon lander, which is insane compared to like what we're used to. But it's impressive that we got there.
As you're touching your screen to scroll up.
Right. As I'm scrolling with this touchscreen right now. And
we landed on the moon with that. We split an atom with less than that technology, which is just incredible. I remember a few years ago, I'm a big history guy. It'll probably never come out here. Yeah, right. When they released like all the documents about World War I.
Oh, yeah.
All of the documents. I think it was World War I. It could have been II, but I think it was I. And they released all the documents about that, and it was just, wow, all the stuff, and we speculated about things, but it was finally those some things were confirmed, other things were not confirmed.
Yeah.
But it was just incredible to look back in history with all of those documents now public record.
Do you remember reading Dan Brown's books series? Not just The Da Vinci Code.
I have not read them.
Okay, well, in the Da Vinci Code, they talk about the Papal Library has a similar thing with church records.
Okay.
I don't remember what the year count is, but like every certain amount of years, they release documents from let's just call it 15 years ago. I'm sure it's more than that.
Right.
But it's interesting, like you said, how years later we find out, quote, the truth about everything that happened, and we get access to all the data.
Right.
And I think it's really cool for people who are into history, and it's also really cool for people who, are using history to make decisions now.
Right.
To not repeat the same mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Moving on, another space-related topic, but more entertainment. So we're moving on to all things entertainment right now. The Martian. Have you had a chance to see it yet?
Yes, I did. And did you read the book?
I didn't read the book.
Okay.
However, I saw the movie. Did the movie keep to the book?
Pretty much.
That's good.
You know, adaptations between film and, you know, print, always going to be some differences,
right?
Which is totally understandable. Like, the one thing I noticed was like a lot of the in detail science stuff that was in the book wasn't in the movie, which is totally understandable because it's hard to put that in there and not bore your movie audience.
Absolutely.
But you know, the book had some really in depth, you know, sciencey stuff in there. You know, about how he was doing all that survival stuff, and and they showed some of it.
They did
via
the making of the water. That was one that was very scientific. And the other thing that stood out to me as it being a story from a book is when he was explaining the whole space pirate thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, I could see it on a page. Like, wow, so this really was written as a book first. Not like I had any doubt about it, but.
One thing that struck me when I was watching the movie and also reading the book, this kind of came up, but it didn't really, you know, make the connection until I actually saw the movie, is a movie that really relates in the same way to this is Castaway, because you have like basically a single person on screen for the majority of the film, and it's all about a personal, you know, journey of this one person. Now in The Martian, they did, you know, flash back and forth between what was going on Earth and all that stuff.
And Sean Bean.
Exactly.
Who didn't die.
Shout out to Stark right there. But I thought that was really interesting, and Matt Damon just nailed it.
He did a very good job.
When you're the only person on screen for that long, you have to be incredibly good at acting.
Right.
And be able to, you know, you're not just reacting to other people's feelings that are acting with you. You have to do it all by yourself. And I think that that's challenging, but I think that Matt Damon did a great job with it.
They did a very good job, for instance, too, when he was only able to, like, you know, text the people that he could talk to. And even just the conversations there where they would, you know, have the conversation on Earth, and then they're like, all right, let's tell it to him. And you're expecting, like, they'll sit down and type everything up, send it to him, but no, they just skipped right to his reaction, or skipped right to his reply, which I thought was hilarious at some point.
Yeah. His character definitely has a sense of humor.
Certainly.
Which is, I think, necessary for somebody who's going to survive by themselves for so long, just because, you know, you are your own company for however long you're there. So.
Right.
But no, overall, I thought the movie was really good. It got amazing reviews. Busted a couple of box office records its opening weekend. And I think that it's, you know, one of those movies that has a deeper message about humanity and everything. So maybe they didn't think that it would do as well. But I think that it really exceeded expectations in that way.
That's good.
One real quick thing, too. I don't know if you're a Quentin Tarantino fan.
Not particularly.
Hit or miss? Okay.
I did enjoy Django, though.
Okay, that was great.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, and that's one of his newer movies.
Yes.
And his new movie that's coming out that also has Sam Jackson.
The Hateful Eight?
Yes. I don't know if you saw, I was reading, they're releasing 2 different versions of it.
Are they now?
Theatrically.
So the theatrical version and the one that...
No, they're releasing 2 different versions to different theaters.
Oh, really?
So in order to get the entire picture or the entire story from the movie, you're going to have to watch it twice. You're going to have to watch both versions of the movie.
From 2 different theaters?
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe some theaters will have both. I'm not sure exactly. But I think that that's interesting. 1, from a storytelling aspect, because you're getting multiple perspectives on one story. But 2, marketing-wise, it's genius.
Oh, that makes you go. Genius. It makes you go twice.
Exactly, it makes you go twice to get the full effect of the movie. So he's making double the money on it.
I mean, you're talking to a guy that saw Frozen 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, but
did I just admit yes, I did.
That was the exact same version of it. If there had been 3 different versions, that one was from Ella's perspective, one was from her sisters, and then one was from Hans. How much more money do you think that they would have made? Tons.
I'm going to go with a lot more.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it. Disney's kind of slacking. Why not?
Yeah, I'd never seen a movie, at least modern times, do this, and I thought it was a really interesting marketing strategy, just from a business standpoint. Also, a cool storytelling, function as well. But I thought I'd mention that just because I was reading up on that, and I thought
there
that
you
was
go.
Pretty interesting. But we are going to take a break right now. Coming up, though, Esquire names the sexiest woman alive this month. We'll find out who that is next.
That sounds excellent. The Other Things podcast is produced at Open Box Strategies in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Open Box Strategies is a website design, video production, and online marketing firm that delivers fixed-fee, value-based creative products and never for an hourly fee. Jumpstart your marketing today. Call 262-825-6993 or visit openboxstrategies.com.
Awesome. So, I don't read this publication very often, but when this came across my news feed, I immediately thought of the show. Emilia Clarke, a.k.a. Daenerys Targaryen, or Sarah Connor.
Yes. She's got many titles.
She has got many titles. You want to roll that?
In the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, Queen of the Andals and the First Men, Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, Breaker of Chains, and Mother of Dragon.
That's a good audio bit.
Cut that off a little bit early, but hey, there you go.
She has many titles.
Many titles, but she can add one more onto her list.
Sexiest Woman Alive 2015 via Esquire magazine is Emilia Clarke, a.k.a. Daenerys Targaryen, a.k.a. Mother of Dragons, a.k.a. Sarah Connor from the new Terminator movie.
There you go.
And I would have to agree with Esquire's judgment here. She is a stunning woman. Also, very talented actress.
Yes.
Not only has she kind of mastered the Daenerys Targaryen character, but she had to learn Dothraki.
And that Valyrian language, too. She had to learn three different...
Well, I didn't even think about
English
that.
English was probably a native language, but...
Right, but, I mean, those are... Dothraki, I know, was created specifically for the Game of Thrones series.
Right.
It's nowhere else. And so, basically, she had to learn that verbatim. Maybe just her lines, but I'm pretty sure I was reading or watching one of those behind-the-scenes things for Game of Thrones, and her and... what's his name? Drogo.
Jason Momoa?
Yes. We're just like chatting behind the scenes in Dothraki just for fun, which I think is pretty funny.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd make private jokes to each other that way. But I definitely agree with their choice here. She's stunning, beautiful, talented, and I can't wait to see what she does next because she, like I said, she's very talented, and I'm sure that she will get cast in multiple upcoming movies, maybe TV series.
Well, I mean, this is really just coming from, someone who had absolutely no career before Game of Thrones, and they really hit the jackpot on that one. How about that casting? Just to
she might have had somewhat of a career, but like pretty minimal until this point.
Right.
And she just exploded. And I know that she's the secret crush of a lot of the guys I know who watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, I just thought it was real interesting. She did a whole photo shoot for Esquire, too, so if you want to go check that out, I would.
Okay.
Also, some other entertainment news that I want to mention, because it came up in the last couple days.
All right.
Playboy.
Oh, yeah.
No more nudity.
I heard about this.
So, from what I can understand from reading, it's not that they're going to do, no nudity. It's what it was described on in the article I was reading.
Well, they said one thing, but it's not like they're going to completely do it.
Right. They basically said nudity that you'd find on Instagram. So, censored nudity. So, something that you could see on your Facebook page. So, swimsuit pictures, lingerie. Just no...
conveniently placed leaf.
Right. Something like that. So, I just thought that was an interesting choice from a business perspective because it's what it is them and their brand, Playboy, trying to adapt to the new world mindset, which is really strong in women's rights. Mm-hmm. And Playboy has been accused of being derogatory to women's rights, which I think is complete bullshit, first of all. Because I don't know if you've ever read any of their articles, but they're really good. They have some of the most talented writers ever, and they actually do really good news stories.
Okay.
And I just think that it's interesting that they're attempting to change their brand to come in more accordance, with what is acceptable in today's world.
I certainly think it's a step in the right direction.
Right, and Esquire is one of those publications that has more of that type of advertising,
right,
versus what Playboy was before.
In a world where we're becoming very sensitive to, especially developing minds and other things, being sensitive to other people's needs, which is always a great thing to do. Certainly, this is a step in the right direction to helping to sort of calm some of that.
And I think that another thing, like I mentioned before, is that their articles and their writing is incredibly good at Playboy. I think they want to highlight that more so that people are actually reading their articles and not just buying their magazines for the pictures. But I thought that was interesting, like I said, just trying to change their view in the public eye and, rebrand themselves for a new age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And coming up next, Battlefront Beta.
Indeed. Alrighty, guys. The Other Things podcast is produced at Open Box Strategies in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Open Box Strategies is a website design, video production, and online marketing firm that delivers fixed-fee, value-based creative projects, and never for an hourly fee. Jumpstart your marketing today. Call 262-825-6993 or visit openboxstrategies, all one word, .com. Alrighty, guys. So, big thing happened last weekend.
Just this quick interjection.
Yeah.
This is very Star Wars-y music right now.
Yeah, it could be like some Cantina Band stuff. I could see that.
You could. Okay.
I could see it.
I was kind of being sarcastic, but all right. Yeah, this is the Cantina Band.
Water Planet, Mon Calamari music. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Camino. The beach side of Camino, I guess.
Moving into the Star Wars universe, though, last weekend they had an open beta for Star Wars Battlefront for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. I actually played it on all three platforms to see if there was any difference. Yeah, I don't have an Xbox One or PS4. I only have PC. My friends have Xbox One and PS4, though, and I tried it out on those when I was over visiting. But they actually extended the beta. It was only supposed to be for the weekend. They actually added another day on it on Monday. And quickly, first of all,
I would call that a success.
Yes, it was a giant success. And real quick, I want to address the purpose of a beta from a business perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
A beta product, or in this case, a video game, or it could be a website or any other product, is something that you put out to a test market to get a response so that you can get data, analytics, analyze that, and see what you need to change to make it better.
Makes sense to me.
Exactly. And so the final version of the game will be exactly what the customers want. And in video games, this is a huge practice because you can get super awesome, valuable data from especially betas that are going on right now. Star Wars Battlefront, when I played it, amazing. The new physics system that they've implemented was amazing. The characters and the graphics, awesome. The maps are huge, which is huge for the Star Wars universe because, those... When you see the battles going on in the Star Wars universe, they're massive.
Right. Right. Now, they built this on the...
Unreal 4? No.
The Battlefield...
Yes. Engine.
Yes.
They did. But they didn't, the thing that I noticed is they didn't reuse anything, and they kind of highlighted that in a lot of their... advertising is that they took the engine, but they built all of the character models and guns and everything from the ground up. And I guess they have a lot of big Star Wars geeks on their staff, and they really did a great job. All of the guns, all of the alien races, all of the locations were really good. The two locations that were probably most played in the beta were Hoth battle, which is, of course, a classic one. And then Sullust.
Sullust? Okay.
Yeah, which is something that hadn't been featured in any movie or on screen at all at any time, just mostly through mentions in movies or through the books.
I know Vader mentions Sullust in, I think it's the first film.
Yeah, and Sullusts are those creatures with the really big eyes in Star Wars.
Cool.
But...
anything from that Jakku That new planet.
No, that is only available if you pre-order the game before November when it comes out. So if you want to get access to that, please do. They also released, after the beta closed, they released a price for the season pass. A season pass for a video game is you can pre-buy all of the DLC that will ever be released for the game for one price, $49.99, which when you consider that the game's already $59.99, it's just under $100 to get access for everything in the game, which is a lot of money. But, they did a lot of work on this game, and I can understand why maybe would charge
deserve
them
it.
Exactly. You got to play it in order to...
They might not make their money off of this if you don't spend that. So be careful.
Right.
They might not make enough money.
The response from the customers was amazing for the beta. But one thing I wanted to mention is they found a pretty glaring flaw with the Battle of Hoth, and it was that the rebels, it was almost impossible for the rebels to win, which one part of me says, okay, well, that's realistic.
Well, they didn't win.
Because they didn't win in the movie,
and
right?
It was supposed to be completely unrealistic for the rebels to win.
But then, from a player perspective, I saw a video of a guy who personally takes his snowspeeder in and downs both AT-ATs that are walking towards the base, but they got to wherever they were supposed to before he killed the second one, and he still lost, even though he completed the objectives. So that's kind of a glaring error.
That's where the beta comes in.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that right after the beta ended, they came out with an official statement and said, hey, we know this wasn't balanced. We're working on it. It's going to be fixed for the original one.
Well, there you go.
So beta anything, whether it's, like I said, a product, a website, a video game, a movie or video podcast, beta allows you to get that information and feedback from your customers who really love your product, and they can tell you exactly what they want. So I think that they probably got a huge amount of data from this beta, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So I can't wait until the video game gets released, and that is on November 17th, again on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So make sure you pre-order it if you want all the goodies.
There you go. And I don't have any of those platforms. I haven't played the game. I have seen some, in-game play, and it looks amazing. I really enjoyed the buzz on social. There was this video going around of Luke Skywalker getting squished.
Right.
Another one where him and Vader were both bowing down in front of each other. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
A bunch of really funny stuff that comes out of this, and that's what I really enjoy. Obviously, I probably won't be able to play the game until
you'll be able to see all the clips on YouTube,
One or I get one.
That's for sure.
I have a friend with a PS4.
There you go. You just got to go over to his house.
There you go. Hey, when you get Battlefront, fight me over. You know who you are.
You know.
But
yeah,
anyway.
I would totally recommend the game to anybody after playing the beta. I'm sure that the full game is going to have a lot more stuff to do because there was really only 2 battle modes that you can do in the beta. But it was really cool. There were random drops, and they allowed you to become the heroes or the villains, so you could become Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader.
Well, they had that in the other ones in the previous Battlefront. And
that one was more based
asset.
on merit, though. This one is there's little just icons laying around the map, and if you pick one up, then you can become them. Or there's different icons, and if you pick one up, you could become an X-Wing fighter or a TIE fighter.
You don't just climb into one?
No, you actually spawn in one up in the air.
Oh,
I actually saw another funny video of Vader, a guy becoming Vader, and right after he got into Vader, just this guy in an X-Wing just crashes.
I've seen that one too. That's funny.
That's a real.
I've seen another one with Vader
kill.
where there's a X-Wing or TIE fighter coming at him, and he throws a lightsaber at it, and it blows up. That was, just the buzz on social.
That's amazing.
That was incredible, and that's something I like to see out of a big game.
Yeah,
like this one.
and for Star Wars fans, being able to interact with the universe is something that they've always loved, and Battlefront takes it to the next level.
For sure. For sure.
Alrighty, I think you have a little bit of tech news for us involving the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
That's right. Yep. I completely missed that on my sheet. So,
Apple, maker of iPhones and Mac computers, Mac products, is being sued and by the University of Wisconsin-Madison for using some technology in one of their processors that University of Madison still has rights to without their permission. And the courts elected that Apple did break the law here and that they need to pay damages to University of Wisconsin-Madison. And I think the max number I saw was $892 million, which is insane.
If we're led to believe that Apple only made 16 million?
Well, I'm sure it's like a percentage of what they made versus how much the processors costed, how much they affected the business. I'm not exactly sure.
I'm on the side of, someone patented the processor.
At $862 million in damages.
The Apple platforms or a computer can't run without its processor.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, iPhone, iPad, whatever ones have that processor in it, would not be made possible if it wasn't for that patent.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how patent law works, but all I know is that Apple was found guilty of breaking patent law in this case.
There you go.
Which is huge for Wisconsin-Madison. They've had some budget issues recently, and this could be something that helps them a lot. And University of Wisconsin-Madison, ton of research goes on there, ton of new technology and biochemical research especially. Yeah. So hopefully they will put that money to good use. And that's the maximum amount that could be paid by Apple. We don't know for sure what the exact amount will be. We might not ever know what the exact amount will be. But they're going to have to pay something.
That's true.
And, that's pretty interesting that the technology that maybe allowed the iPhone or the iPad or the Mac computer to be as efficient as it was originated from our home state. I think that's pretty cool.
Here's the cool part. This is from Forbes.
Okay.
So kind of a big name.
Right.
The university filed the patent in 1998.
Wow.
For technology that could enhance the efficiency of computer processors. The jury has yet to decide on damages, but the university has been seeking as much as $862 million for the patent infringement.
Wow.
It sued Intel for so this is really Intel too.
Okay.
For the same patent in 2008. I wonder what this patent is. It's like, did they patent like a square?
No, it's
processor?
Probably some certain process
however
to
many
make the
pins
processor
there are on it.
Or something like that, or maybe a new material. I have no idea.
Well, they sued Intel for infringing on the same patent in 2008 and settled out of court with the company before it had to go to trial. Intel ended up paying the university $110 million lump sum to license the patent.
Okay.
Court documents. Well, yeah, the net links.
Okay.
And that doesn't help you very much.
Well,
on the podcast.
but they did win that.
They did win that one, but it was out of court.
Right.
It was out of court. This one, I mean, Apple's going to take this, right? They're going to keep appealing this.
Right, and they're going to try to knock that number down as far as they can.
Yeah.
Unless they decide to settle out of court, too, which is totally a possibility. But they have been found guilty, and they will have to pay some form of retribution to UW-Madison. So we'll look forward to seeing how that all plays out. And like I said, hopefully they use that money to further research things that will help our everyday lives.
Absolutely. One more thing from this Forbes article that I find interesting. It says, Apple had argued that the patent was invalid and couldn't have been infringed. So the 2008 thing?
Right.
That was invalid too? All right, Apple.
That's the Apple's lawyers just trying to dance around everything.
Keep trucking. Yeah. All right. Brock, what's coming up?
Alrighty, guys. In November, we have a couple of really awesome movies coming out. The Good Dinosaur, a new Disney movie, animated movie.
It's Pixar, too.
Yep. If you want to check that out, please do. The Peanuts movie. I know a lot of big Peanuts fans around Christmas come out.
They did a lot of research going into that one.
Yes,
to the original animator and everything else. This should be very good and very in line with the rest of the Peanuts.
Agreed. Spectre. James Bond is coming out in November as well. It's going to be awesome. Also, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2, I believe, is coming out in November as well. So I think lots of stuff to pay attention to for movies. Video games, like I already mentioned, Battlefront is coming out on November 17th.
Yes,
Fallout 4, November 10th, another big title for next-gen consoles and PC. New Need for Speed on November 3rd. That's an old video game series that they've kind of brought back, and as well as a new Tomb Raider on November 10th. And we have some new StarCraft content, StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, also on November 10th. So pay attention to all those and, enjoy especially the Star Wars Battlefront. And don't forget, December 18th, The Force Awakens. They're going to start selling tickets soon.
There it is.
So please get yours soon, because I know that they will be mobbed.
And you have been listening to the Other Things podcast, again recorded right here at Open Box Strategies. And as always, remember, life is a contact sport. See you later.
See you.